Big topics in motorsport don't get much bigger than right now. Joined by Jack Perkins. Jack, this is a hairy one for you. Formula One. The cars are ugly. The racing is ugly. They sound ugly. What's wrong with Formula One?
Well, man, I think you've touched on all the reasons, but I think ultimately these last two seasons have been a bit disappointing because it's a two-horse race. I look back at 2010 championship, for example, right in the heart of Red Bull domination, but there was still 3 or 4 cars that could win the championship at the last round. Although Sebastian Vettel won a lot of races, you never shoot him in to be an absolute sure favourite to win a race every week. There were still other cars and teams that were very, very competitive. But these last 2 seasons between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg, it's just been an absolute two-horse race, and unfortunately the race for third's been more entertaining because quite often it's been quite entertaining, but the sound of the cars is disappointing. I know the fans love the old high-pitched squeal of a Formula One car, and now these last couple of seasons has been very disappointing.
To make changes to fix the sport, first you actually have to acknowledge though that you've got a problem. Do you think Formula One bosses are putting their hand up and say, we've got a problem, or is it head in the sand still that no, everything will work itself out?
Well, it's a difficult one because, all the technical changes that cause a few of the disappointing things like the sound and the quality of racing, it's come from the team owners, and they're representing manufacturers and stuff like that. So there's a number of things, I think they all know that their product's not as good as it needs to be, especially when there's only 2 cars that can win races, but it's Formula One. It's the top level of motorsport in the world. It's sexy, it's awesome, and they'll get back there. They just need to hurry up and do it.
Mercedes is such a dominant force in the past couple of years, partly because Red Bull has dropped off so dramatically. They're run by a watch company next year as the engine. Do you see the days of Red Bull being a powerhouse in this sport long gone?
Well, it's amazing when you think of Formula One manufacturers, Ferrari, Mercedes, and then racing against Red Bull with a Tag Heuer engine. I mean, you've got an energy drink and a wristwatch, but against some of the most impressive automobiles in the world. So, yeah, it's an interesting dynamic, but Red Bull have been such a successful team, and they're almost a crowd favourite, if you like. Everyone wants to see them succeed, and we've got our own Australian, Dan Ricciardo, driving there as well, so there's probably a bit more support as well for him, but hopefully the sport can improve. Multiple winners is what it needs, and a really close fought championship.
Yeah, Red Bull, such an embarrassment on and off the racetrack in 2015. What does 2016 hold in store for Dan? It's his last year of his contract with the team. What can he achieve this year?
Well, I mean, Formula One's a lot of racing your teammate because that's the true measure of your performance.
But Dan wants to win races. He doesn't want to be mid-pack, but I guess that's where he's going to be, isn't it?
Exactly. He wants to win races, but his first year with Red Bull, he showed that he could beat Sebastian Vettel, and he knows where his place is, and he's very highly respected in the paddock. So if he can have a strong season, hopefully they pick their act up as a team, but also he needs to really smoke Kvyat on the track. He needs to really dust him up, and then it'll be interesting to see what the future holds for him.
So much of F1 is so wrong at the moment, but the Lewis Hamilton-Nico Rosberg feud will be worth watching in 2016, won't it?
Well, it's probably the only thing that makes it a bit more interesting, isn't it? That the 2 teammates are the ones racing hard, but they hate each other. So, look, hopefully that dynamic keeps going and provides another big rivalry for Formula One in 2016.
Thanks for your time, Jack. March 20, we're counting down to the start of the Formula One season right here in Melbourne at Albert Park.
I think, I look back on the season and I honestly look back on it I still look back on it with a smile. Sure, it had some frustrations at times, but there was still some positives, some parts where I think the one thing I'm really happy with is, I feel I learned a lot from the season, and I think the point you stop learning is the point where you start to get a little bit worried, and I'm still young and I feel there's still got a lot to learn and to achieve in the sport. So let's say the hard times, in a way, some of the harder times were, I took a lot out of those. Highlight from the year, yeah, definitely Budapest, because not only was it for me the most fun race of the year, but it was the real turning point for us. So yeah, it was off the back of a crazy emotional week as well. So it all just, that 7-day period was crazy, but it was really the turning point for the year, and I feel took a lot of sort of satisfaction from that weekend. Target for 16, just to get more podiums, and to get a win at least. I missed missed that win this year. So yeah, to at least try and get one next year would be a good start. We can definitely make progress as a team. You know, Mercedes will still be the team to beat. I'm sure of that. Ferrari will be interesting. You know, they made a big step this year. If they could make another step like that, then they'll be in good shape to fight with Mercedes. But yeah, hopefully we can find a few more occasions to battle them. I definitely enjoy fighting at the front.
Each week, Armour All will be giving away the ultimate summer pack.
The pack comprises of a range of summer products such as the Armour All foldable chair, Armour All hat, chiller esky bag, bottle opener, Armour All stickers, along with a range of Armour All products to keep your car looking cool and clean this summer. To enter the draw, all you have to do is click on the link below and fill in your details. It's that easy.
See you tomorrow for another episode
of the Armour All Summer Grill.
If you're like me, wash your car fairly regularly, you'll still find after a year, maybe two, that it starts to lose some of its luster, some of that real sheen. And what that typically is, there's a build-up of oxidisation on top of the paint, or you can also do it just from washing with dirty cloths and wiping with dirty cloths, and you get that swirl you see in the car sometimes. Right, a couple of products to solve that problem. In two forms, pretty well the same product. One, cut and polish in a cream form, and the other one, liquid cut and polish. So that's more of a pasty type liquid, very, very easy to use. So what you do, open him up, get yourself a nice dry rag, cotton rag or an applicator. Armour All have got those. Try not to do too big an area at a time. And importantly, do this in the shade, otherwise you'll make the work much, much harder. Right, now work in a swirling motion, you know, sort of nearly half a bonnet or a third of a bonnet's a pretty indicative area to do. Swirl around, not too hard, just a nice light polish all over, and the materials in this will go to work. And once you've done that, you just need to leave it, walk away from it, leave it until it hazes off to a nice dry powdery haze. Then come back with, you can use a Armour All Maker microfiber cloth or just use a nice soft cotton cloth, and we'll just wait a sec for that to haze off and you watch how good this comes up. Now depending on the heat of the day, that won't take any more than a minute or two to haze off. In fact, fellas, you know what I do? That's the time I use to get the missus to paint the tyres. Come back, give it a nice wipe off with your nice dry cloth, and seriously, look at that, that's not hard work. If you leave it the right amount of time, buff that off, and that's the pleasurable part of this job, let me tell you, because, I mean, I'm not the best looking bloke, but I can see myself in there. That is really good to make your old car new again. Good product.